Hey everyone, so have you ever looked at a dog and thought, wow, there is no way that's not a wild wolf? Well, creating and keeping that perfect wild look while making sure the dog is actually a safe, healthy companion, it doesn't just happen by accident. Welcome to today's Explainer, designed especially for you students out there. Today, we're looking at the Czechoslovakian Wolfdog. Honestly, you can think of this breed like a super complex video game character that needs absolutely perfect stats to complete its ultimate mission, which is just being allowed to pass its genes on to the next generation. It's this fascinating mix of biology and some really strict rules. So let's figure out exactly how this crazy system works.
So what makes the perfect wolf dog? I mean, is it just having pointy ears and a gray coat? Actually, not even close. For a Czechoslovakian wolfdog to be officially recognized for breeding, it literally has to survive an incredibly strict set of rules. It's this massive screening process designed to guarantee that only the absolute best, healthiest, and most structurally sound dogs get to reproduce. We're not talking about just winning a local dog show here. It's quite literally a survival of the fittest test, totally managed by experts.
You see, breeding this specific dog, it's a carefully calculated game. The whole goal of this high-stakes quest is to basically eliminate genetic glitches and keep the wolf intact for future generations. The source material emphasizes that this process exists so the breed doesn't just get watered down by, temporary fashion trends. The goal is to make sure future owners get healthy puppies that genuinely reflect that totally unique wolf dog character. If the standards drop, the breed just completely loses its identity.
Okay, let's dive into this. Every single Czechoslovakian wolfdog with a pedigree has to conquer 3 epic pillars to level up and enter the breeding program. Step 1 is the bonitation, which is a massive evaluation of their appearance and temperament. Step 2, mandatory X-rays to check out their skeleton. And Step 3 involves some really rigorous genetic tests. Think of these as 3 distinct levels the dog has to pass. Fail any of them, and game over. They absolutely cannot be bred.
All right, level 1, inside health. Let's look at the hidden stats.
Before anyone even cares about how pretty the dog is, we have to check those invisible stats. These are the internal health checks that can instantly make or break a dog's chances. Starting right at 15 months old, the dog goes through mandatory X-rays to check for hip and elbow dysplasia. Look at the perfect A joints of a Class 1 dog on the left. Those hips are flawless. But if they have severe joint dysplasia, like the shattered-looking red bones on the right, that's an instant disqualification. Game over.
What's really fascinating here is just how deep this genetic screening goes. The dog's DNA profile is completely mapped out. They are mandatorily tested for 2 really severe hereditary diseases, degenerative myelopathy, which is a nerve disease, and pituitary dwarfism, which causes major growth issues. The quest goal here is strict population control. Breeders must absolutely prevent mating 2 carriers together, because if 2 carriers mate, sick puppies are born, and that's a massive failure. Oh, and as a kind of bonus side quest, it's also highly recommended they test for malignant hyperthermia, which is basically a life-threatening sensitivity to anesthesia.
Moving right along, we hit level 2, physical stats.
Now it's time for the external character customization check. This brings us to a really specific term from our sources, bonitation. Bonitation is basically the ultimate physical audit. Starting at 18 months old, experts meticulously evaluate the dog to make sure they perfectly match the breed standard. And they aren't just giving it a quick glance either. They track exact proportions. They measure body length, chest depth, and dozens of other metrics just to maintain that classic, striking wolfy look. Every single strength and every little flaw is recorded into a very specific bonitation code.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how rigid the rules are. There's a hard physical minimum for height at the withers. The ridge right between the shoulder blades. Females must be at least 60 centimeters tall, males at least 65 centimeters. These exact minimum measurements are totally non-negotiable. If a male dog comes in at, say, 64 centimeters, he fails, period.
42. That right there is the magic number. During this physical audit, experts literally count the dog's teeth. They must have exactly 42 teeth. Plus, the way their jaws close has to be perfect, forming what's called a scissor or pincer bite. Oh, and for the male dogs, there's another strict physical requirement. Both testicles must be normally developed and fully descended. Missing teeth or missing testicles, you guessed it, the dog is immediately booted out of the breeding pool.
But hey, physical looks aren't everything, right? Next up is the behavioral boss fight, the temperament test. Because a dog that looks like a wolf still needs to act like a safe, trainable companion, not a wild beast. So during this test, the dog is literally forced to react to a crowd of people. Then they're tied to a peg while a decoy approaches them. And finally, they are even tested on their reaction to gunshots. The ideal result the judges are looking for is a balanced, sanguine temperament. That means they're calm, confident, and steady, not easily spooked. Earning this highly coveted code F proves they are absolutely ready for the real world.
Up next, Level 3. Game over. Eliminating faults.
So the crucial point is, this entire process is actually just a massive filter to remove flaws from the gene pool. If a dog has a severe deviation from the standard, they get hit with code P14. This code means insufficient compliance with the standard, and it is an absolute, undeniable game over for breeding. The red flags that trigger a P14 include being under the required height, missing teeth, or missing testicles. But behavioral flaws are punished just as strictly. Extreme shyness, which gets code OE, or aggression, code OA, will eliminate a dog instantly. Even atypical looks, like having a dewlap of extra skin under the neck, the wrong coat color, or a steep slope to their hindquarters will trigger this code. Literally only the absolute best genetics survive this filter.
And finally, Level 4. Victory Official Registration.
Achievement unlocked. If a dog manages to beat the internal health level, conquer the physical stats, and pass all those behavioral boss battles without triggering a P14 code, they unlock the final administrative win. That's official re-registration into the breeding registry managed by the Czech Kynological Union. The source material is super clear about this. Without this official pedigree stamp on their record, legal breeding is entirely impossible. This registration proves to the whole world that the dog has been fully audited and meets the absolute highest standards of the breed.
Oh, there is one tiny final quest item, specifically for owners of female dogs. Before a fully certified, healthy, and perfectly proportioned female can actually have a litter of puppies, her owner has to secure an internationally protected kennel name. Once that official kennel name is claimed, the dog is finally officially ready to spawn the next generation of perfect Wolfdog puppies.
So, we've seen just how intensely strict the rules are for the Czechoslovakian Wolfdog. Every joint, every tooth, every strand of DNA, and every behavioral reaction is completely tracked and tested. It brings us to a really fascinating question to leave you students with. Should these strict, game-like rules apply to all dog breeds? If we gamified dog health like this across the board, could we save other popular breeds from the genetic disasters they currently face? Think about that the next time you see a purebred dog. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep leveling up your knowledge.